I'm back. Hugh has asked me to introduce our speaker today, our speakers, Bryan Marine and Shelby Burns. They are with Campus Life in Lincoln. I've known Bryan, we were discussing this, I don't know how long. Bryan and I did a few church camps together as counselors, so I've known Bryan for a while, so it's good to see him again. So we'll have Bryan and Shelby present their ministry.
Thank you. You bet. Morning. I think it's funny that I'm introduced as the guest speaker bringing the message today, because Hugh called me about a week ago and said, hey, do you want to come down and present your ministry? And I was like, sure, yeah, because I do that a lot, you know what I mean? So I Facebooked him a message and said, what are the details, what do I need to be? And then I had a work retreat this week where we went to Iowa to plan some stuff for Campus Life, and it just happened to be the cabin we were staying in. I had no cell phone service and no internet. And so I got back on Friday night with a message from Hugh saying, oh yeah, these are details, blah, blah, blah. And then, usually we just go for about 30 to 45 minutes. And I was like, oh, all right. I'm used to doing the church present, the ministry, and usually they ask for about 10. And that's pretty generous if I get 10. So we'll see how this goes. You guys might get out a little early today. We'll see. I'll do my best to fill that time. So like they said, I'm from Lincoln Campus Life, and the reason why I'm here really is because I go way back with Hugh. So I am a pastor's son. My dad is the pastor at Benson Baptist Church, Paul Marine. I don't know. I mean, it's American Baptist Church, and so I grew up going to camp, American Baptist camps in Nebraska, and got to work alongside of guys like Steve, and then Hugh was a director one time when I was in high school, and then him and I we actually directed a camp together at one point. So that's why I'm here. I know I go back with Hugh and some of those things. So that's what brought me here this morning. I am married. My wife's name is Chelsea. I wish I had a picture to show you of my family, but I don't. I'm not that high tech, I guess. But she couldn't be here today. We just had a son about 4 months ago, and so we're kind of still getting used to being parents and working with schedules and stuff like that. So she wished she could have been here, but didn't work out today. So I brought a friend named Shelby with me to kind of eat up some of this time that I have, as well as communicate. I literally called her Friday night. I was like, what are you doing Sunday? I need some help here. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do. So just give you a little bit of history. YFC, Youth for Christ, is maybe a little bit more familiar to some of you. Youth for Christ is the organization that I work for, essentially in Lincoln. It was started back in the 40s as a way of ministering to young soldiers that were being deployed. And so they would do these big rallies with all these, it was primarily people in the military, young people in the military would come to these rallies. Have you ever heard of Billy Graham? A couple people, maybe. Billy Graham was the first full-time employee of Youth for Christ. So if you see any black and white photos of Billy Graham talking to a bunch of high school kids, probably on there on his podium or somewhere on there it says Youth for Christ, because those were Youth for Christ rallies way back then. So he was the first person on staff with Youth for Christ, and they did rally style for a while, and then it kind of changed to, the model changed to doing Bible clubs. So after the rally thing was kind of getting old or something like that, and there wasn't as much need for it, they started doing these Bible clubs, and then that eventually kind of transitioned into what we know now as Campus Life. So Campus Life is really just a program that Youth for Christ offers. And so When you hear it, sometimes people are like, Campus Life, Youth for Christ, and so Youth for Christ is the organization. Campus Life is the program that we do in Lincoln. And we have lots of programs. So there's a program, Juvenile Justice, works with teenagers that are in the jail system. We have one called Teen Parents, so it works with teens that are dealing with this struggles of being parents as teenagers. We do some inner city kind of stuff too, but Campus Life is by far our biggest program that we offer, and I think that it's that way for a reason, because it's very strategic. It's all based on the high school and middle school campuses. So I have a little survey we're going to do real quick. How many of you in the room went to high school or middle school? Not necessarily graduated, just went to high school or middle school. Just about everybody, right? Just about everybody. And this is why I think Campus Life is so unique and so strategic, is that really it's the only thing that's like that. It's like we have this funnel that is school, and it ends with middle school and then high school, and then we're all just spread out all over the world. Never again will everybody be in the same place at the same time, like you do when you're in middle school and high school. Not everybody graduates and goes to college. Not everybody graduates and joins the military. Not everybody gets a job. Not everybody goes to sporting events and those kinds of things. Never again will everybody be in the same place at the same time. And so that's why we've made the campuses of the high schools and middle schools our main focus, our main priority, is because we feel like that is the most strategic place for us to just have the audience of everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, at some point you're in high school or middle school. So we start on the campus. We're strategic about being on the campus. But then our approach, our model of ministry is very relational. So we start by just being there with the kids. We go into their world. We're with them where they're at. And then out of that, we start to build relationships naturally. You start to get to know kids. You maybe go and hang out with them somewhere, go to a movie, stuff like that. And we just start to develop these relationships a little bit deeper. And then inevitably what happens is they want to know, why is it that you care about me so much? Why is it that you're hanging out with me and on my campus and stuff like that? And so at some point, usually the conversation of God comes up, and then that's where we move into maybe some more just conversations about what does that look like? Who is this God person? Why does he care about me? Do some small groups, Bible study type things. But our anchor in our program is called Club. And Club is the place, it's the once a week gathering that is, again, it's specific to a campus, and we invite kids to come out, and that's where we can really dive in deeper with our conversations and with kind of presenting some stuff to them. So it would look most likely like a youth group or something like that. I mean that's really essentially what it is, but with the purpose of reaching lost students on the campus. So that would be our main target, is on the campus. There are kids that are already plugged into churches or already plugged into this or have solid families, and those kids are great, and we'll take them if we get them, but our main focus is going after that kid that doesn't have anybody else going after them. Does that make sense? So we're there, we're chasing after that kid, invite him out to Club, and that's where we really start to see that depth of ministry start to happen. So just quick story. There was this kid named Justin who goes to Northeast Campus Life in Lincoln. And Justin was kind of not a cool kid, if you will. He didn't have a lot of friends. You could tell he would get angry really quick. If anybody ever said anything to him that he thought was making fun of him, he would just lash out in this angry sort of way. Led me to believe that this kid probably got made fun of most of his life. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of kid where, like, he doesn't think you have anything nice to say to him because he's been told so many bad things about himself throughout his life. So he starts coming to Club, and he came by himself. He didn't have any friends. I don't know why he kept coming to Club, but he did. Something about what he found there was appealing to him, so he kept coming. And eventually, Justin became just an integrated part of our campus life group at Northeast High School. he would